David Gilmour is not a man who needed to shout to be heard. He did not chase the spotlight, thrive on scandal, or rely on flashy technical displays to assert his presence. In a time when rock often equaled chaos, ego, and spectacle, Gilmour chose a different path, a quiet, patient, and profoundly powerful one. Every note he played carried an emotional truth that words often fail to convey. His solos, particularly the iconic work on Comfortably Numb, have become landmarks in musical history, not because of virtuosic bravado, but because he spoke to the heart in ways few could. He did not seek fame, yet it naturally found him, drawn by the depth and sincerity of his artistry. This story explores Gilmour's life not to mythologize a legend, but to understand how patience, subtlety, and emotional honesty can resonate more deeply than any grand gesture. Early life, a childhood of quiet observation. David Gilmour was born on March 6, 1946 in Cambridge, England, a city rich in intellect, history, and quiet charm. His father, Dr. Douglas Gilmour, was a respected zoologist and lecturer, and his mother, Sylvia Wilson, a journalist who later taught film studies, provided a home steeped in learning and curiosity. Outwardly, David seemed to have every advantage: a stable home, education, and access to ideas beyond the ordinary. Yet he often felt invisible within this environment, not through neglect, but through the natural silence of an academic household. Conversations leaned toward logic rather than warmth, leaving him to explore his own inner world. This early immersion in observation and reflection shaped a man for whom introspection was a constant companion, and whose emotions found expression more easily through music than words. School years, finding solace in music. At school, David's difference became more apparent. He was neither a top student nor a disruptive one. He simply existed in his own rhythm, often feeling like an outsider. While others focused on grades and social hierarchies, he gravitated toward books, sketching, and the music that poured from radios and records. A pivotal moment came when his mother gave him a guitar at age 10. Without formal lessons, he learned on his own, exploring chords and melodies in long, solitary sessions that became transformative. Music offered him a refuge, a private universe where he could turn feelings into sound. In those hours alone, David discovered not just a hobby, but a sanctuary, an authentic voice that required no audience. Meeting Syd Barrett, a catalyst for growth during art school, Gilmour met Syd Barrett, whose eccentricity and raw creativity would shape the early identity of Pink Floyd. Barrett was fiery, spontaneous, and unpredictable, while Gilmour was calm, deliberate, and quietly intense. Their collaboration was a balancing act. Barrett's chaos was tempered by Gilmour's steadiness. Long jam sessions and philosophical discussions about music and emotion honed Gilmour's skill, patience, and emotional sensitivity. Barrett's time in Pink Floyd was brief, but his influence on Gilmour was profound, teaching him the subtle power of musical storytelling and the importance of presence without dominance. In a sense, Gilmour became both a companion and a stabilizing force, absorbing lessons that would guide him throughout his career. Early career, from supporting player to guiding hand. The late 1960s were a period of experimentation and modest struggle for Gilmour. In his early 20s, he played in small bands, often living hand to mouth, yet he carried a remarkable gift: the ability to command attention without a word. When Syd Barrett's mental health deteriorated due to drug use, Pink Floyd faced a critical moment, and Gilmour was brought in to support the faltering guitarist. By 1968, when Barrett officially left, Gilmour inherited not just the guitar, but a subtle emotional mantle. He did not seize leadership aggressively. Instead, he led through music, quietly shaping the band's evolving identity, while honoring the foundations Barrett had laid. This period demanded patience, humility, and deep listening, all qualities that would become hallmarks of his approach. Crafting Pink Floyd's sound, early albums like A Saucerful of Secrets, 1968, More, 1969, Umaguma, 1969, and Metal, 1971, marked the early stages of Gilmour's defining influence. Here, he began to craft the emotional depth that would characterize Pink Floyd, using extended solos and textural guitar work to elevate the band beyond mere psychedelic experimentation. Tracks like Echoes showcased his ability to sustain musical tension and nuance, revealing a player who could guide soundscapes with empathy rather than showmanship. Critics initially framed Pink Floyd as Barrett's former project, but Gilmour remained focused on his craft, quietly nurturing the band's identity with patience and integrity. These formative years laid the groundwork for the emotive storytelling that would come to define the group, rise to prominence. The Dark Side of the Moon. By the release of The Dark Side of the Moon in 1973, Gilmour's playing had become central to Pink Floyd's identity. He did not craft the conceptual vision or lyrics, but his guitar work transformed abstract ideas into emotional experiences. Every sustained note, every echoing delay carried intention, speaking to feelings beyond verbal expression. The album's success was gradual, reflecting years of experimentation and creative persistence. Gilmour's contributions were subtle yet essential. His touch could elevate a song from a collection of ideas to a living, breathing journey, making listeners feel every nuance. His artistry demonstrated that music's power often lies not in spectacle, but in sincerity and restraint. Artistic peak, Shine On You Crazy Diamond, and Wish You Were Here. In the mid-1970s, Pink Floyd reached an artistic peak with albums like Wish You Were Here and Shine On You Crazy Diamond, work steeped in personal history and emotional resonance. Gilmour's solos became landscapes of grief, nostalgia, and reflection, translating complex feelings into musical form. Shine On You Crazy Diamond allowed audiences to inhabit an intricate world of subtle beauty, while Wish You Were Here captured the pain of absence and longing. Here, Gilmour perfected the art of storytelling without words, letting guitar lines speak where language could not. His music became a bridge between personal experience and collective emotion, proving that true artistry resides in vulnerability and depth. Navigating internal tensions. As Pink Floyd matured, tensions grew between Gilmour and Roger Waters, whose increasingly political and lyrical focus contrasted with Gilmour's emotional, intuitive approach. On albums like Animals, this dynamic was evident. Waters' concepts demanded structure, while Gilmour's contributions emphasized nuance and human feeling. Rather than responding with conflict, Gilmour continued to communicate through sound, embedding intricate, unspoken narratives into the music. His restraint created space for reflection, inviting listeners to find their own emotional connections. In this interplay, Gilmour demonstrated that leadership and influence need not be loud or combative. Sometimes, the quietest voice resonates the longest. The Wall. Comfortably Numb. When The Wall emerged in 1979, the album was widely celebrated for Waters' lyrics and conceptual vision. Yet it was Gilmour's solos, especially on Comfortably Numb, that transformed it into a timeless work. The two-part solo is revered not for flashy technique, but for emotional immediacy. Each note carries longing, vulnerability, and transcendence, proving that music can express the inexpressible. Gilmour's approach remained consistent. He served the song and enhanced its emotional impact, allowing the audience to experience a depth of feeling that words alone could never convey. Through his understated mastery, he made the listener pause, reflect, and connect on a profoundly human level, leading Pink Floyd. The post-Waters era. Following Waters' departure in 1985, Pink Floyd faced an uncertain future, yet Gilmour assumed leadership with quiet determination. He guided the band through albums like A Momentary Lapse of Reason and The Division Bell, preserving their legacy while asserting his own artistic voice. Tracks such as High Hopes offered reflective commentary on memory, growth, and the passage of time, marking a contemplative closing of chapters both personal and musical. Gilmour's leadership was subtle but transformative, demonstrating that influence need not be assertive to be enduring, and that artistic vision can thrive in patience, empathy, and attentive listening. Solo career, finding his voice. Gilmour's solo work illuminates the personal side of his artistry beyond the scope of Pink Floyd. His debut album, David Gilmour, 1978, was an intimate sketch of blues-inflected reflections, while About Face, 1984, allowed him to explore more assertive ideas without abandoning subtlety. Later works, including On an Island, 2006, and Rattle That Lock, 2015, offered deeply human narratives, often shaped by his partnership with wife Polly Sampson. These albums showcase a musician reflecting on life, love, and creativity with honesty and nuance, demonstrating that music need not be loud to be powerful. His solo career reinforces a simple truth: Emotional sincerity resonates longer than any technical display. Live performances, cinema and reflection. Gilmour's live performances, including Live at Gdansk, 2006, and Live at Pompeii, 2017, exemplify his approach to music as shared experience. Whether performing solo or with orchestras, he transforms stages into emotional landscapes, emphasizing reflection, atmosphere, and connection over spectacle. His concerts invite audiences into a meditative space, where music becomes a living, ephemeral conversation between performer and listener. These performances capture the essence of his artistry, subtle, human, and deeply resonant, proving that live music can be as much about introspection as entertainment. Personal life. Private depths. Gilmour's private life mirrors his artistic philosophy, deliberate, introspective, and principled. His first marriage provided stability amid the upheavals of Pink Floyd's ascent, while his later marriage to Polly Samson in 1994 created both personal and creative harmony. Samson's lyrical contributions enriched his solo work, enabling Gilmour to explore intimate themes with subtlety and depth. His family life, largely shielded from public scrutiny, serves as a sanctuary, a space where relationships, reflection, and creativity flourish without external pressure. This quiet grounding informs both his music and his presence, offering insight into the interplay between personal integrity and artistic expression. Principles and integrity. Throughout his life, Gilmour has demonstrated alignment between art and personal ethics. Whether supporting philanthropic efforts, preserving artistic integrity, or navigating the media with discretion, he exemplifies a life guided by principle rather than performance. His actions, measured, deliberate, and kind, reflect a commitment to authenticity, proving that true influence stems from consistency and thoughtfulness rather than spectacle. In an often superficial world, Gilmour's steadiness serves as a model for balancing personal values with professional excellence. Legacy and influence. Gilmour's legacy is profound and enduring. He redefined the role of the guitar in rock music, emphasizing emotional depth over technical virtuosity. From solos like Time and Comfortably Numb to his work on Shine On You Crazy Diamond, he communicates directly with the listener's heart, inspiring musicians across generations, including Mark Knopfler, John Frusciante, Ed O'Brien, and Steven Wilson. Beyond technique, he co-architected Pink Floyd's cinematic, atmospheric soundscapes, producing albums that remain meditative, timeless, and transformative. Offstage, his humility, patience, and philanthropy highlight an approach to life and art rooted in sincerity and quiet influence. Conclusion: silence that speaks. David Gilmour never sought to be a legend. He became one through dedication, emotional honesty, and the subtle mastery of his craft. In a rock world often dominated by ego, speed, and spectacle, he demonstrated that stillness, nuance, and patience can resonate more deeply than flash or bravado. Every carefully shaped phrase, every sustained note, becomes a vessel for reflection, connection, and empathy. Gilmour's life and music teach that true artistry is not measured by visibility or acclaim, but by the capacity to touch others, to evoke feeling, and to create meaning in ways words cannot. His legacy is timeless, reminding us that depth, integrity, and quiet beauty endure far beyond applause.